Welcome to Smack Talk. I unapologetically have a little cheat sheet notepad with me to help me remember some key moments that may have occurred, since it's a lot of information to remember. Anyhow, link down below as always to credit WWE. That's me right there, minus the chin hair. So we started off with Jimmy Uso that came out acknowledging Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, which I always think is odd because he has been ripping the bloodline and Roman Reigns so bad, but along with Jay and all the stuff that he's doing now is very heel-like, and even goes as far as like ripping the microphone consistently out of Paul Heyman's hands. Solo seems a little bit confused. They don't want to like shake each other's hands every time Jimmy is like, come on, give it to me here. You know, it's just the whole thing's just very, very odd. And I can't wait to see what Roman Reigns is going to think of all this, because the whole thing's just off. Then Carl Anderson came out to smack around the bloodline a little bit before his match with Solo Sikoa, which was a good match. I don't know what's her name again, Mishkin. I can't remember how to pronounce her name properly, but she came out at the end, and Luke Gallows again really wasn't around. When it comes to all this stuff, I feel like they should always be together as a team. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how AJ Styles fares when he comes back, if he's going to hold some grudges. So yeah, Jimmy Uso did end up defeating Carl Anderson. This was a decent match. I've always liked Carl and Luke Gallows. I think they're solid workers, the OC. And yeah, apart from that, don't really have much to say about the actual match itself. Moving on. So this whole thing was really, really weird. Wait a second. We had a match in between that. They don't even have these in order. Come on now. Well, we're going to have to go with it. Now, Austin Theory defeated Cameron Grimes. This was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. Cameron Grimes is deceptively strong. But before that, here's what we had. We had the Grayson Waller effect, okay? With the Grayson Waller effect, I thought that this time his speech was actually pretty good. And Bobby Lashley was the guest on that show, but he seemed to have dumped the Street Profits, didn't really have much to say, was saying, you know, it's all about the heart. They didn't go for it. There's no excuses. So the Street Profits came out. And Bobby Lashley just confronted them, just said, you gotta show me if you want something from me. And he just walked away. And that's when Grayson Waller ended up calling Austin Theory out to have a match with Cameron Grimes there. And then the Street Profits approached Bob. Come on, man, what the hell's going on? The whole thing, I got to admit, is just really wonky. I don't really get how anybody realistically would get so upset over something so simple like that. But here we go. There you have it. And then Cameron Grimes ended up getting distracted, which really didn't make much sense to me because he got distracted by Grayson Waller. And I know, this is scripted, but I'm just saying, when you look back at it, or any of these moments with any superstar, you got out of my face, I'd always be like that. It's a little bit more realistic. I get it. It's scripted. It's a show. But at the same time, I would try to have things play out in a more organic, believable manner. But that's just me. And maybe that's why I'm not a WWE writer. And instead, I make $20 a month on YouTube with this wrestling channel. But overall, like I said, the transition from the Grayson Waller Effect show to Austin Theory with Cameron Grimes is a good match, like I said. Now, moving on. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, there was that backstage thing with Santos Escobar, and it was just nice to see with Rey Mysterio, where he was like, you know, we're the best. May the best man win. You don't see that too often because they're within the same faction. Could you imagine if Finn Balor and like Damian Priest were to go at it, I don't know, just something tells me it wouldn't all be like family love sort of thing. But yeah, there we go. Rey Mysterio did defeat Santos Escobar to retain the U.S. title. This was a really, really good match, in my opinion. I love that Rey Mysterio, at the ripe old age of 48, he's only 3 years older than me, is just able to perform at such a high level. It's just really nice to see. We could totally see the disappointment naturally in Santos Escobar. And then Dragon Lee was at ringside and got to hug Rey Mysterio. I totally can see eventually at some point just Santos Escobar being like, ah. And then, of course, Zelina Vega was out at ringside. She came out with Rey Mysterio, but she had to come out with somebody. Naturally, she's on the side of everybody. So anytime anybody got hit, she's like, oh my God, like, she doesn't know who to root for. She just wanted these guys to have a good time, have a good match, and entertain, of course. So, oh, and at the end, this is what was really good. See, you don't see that here. Well, I mean, they probably did say something at the end here. Yeah, looking to prove themselves. Ray and Santos at the end had the Street Profits ambush them at the end. And Bobby Lashley was clapping. He was excited. It's like, that's all it took. He just ambushed some people that are tired at the end of a match. And that was enough to get the hug and not having to give away their watches and their suits back. I don't know. That was a little bit bizarre for me. We had another little vignette with the Yes Boys. Pretty deadly. And I have to admit, it's making me like them more and more, week in and week out. When I see that stuff, I'm starting to see the magic of those guys. To me, they're still not Fandango. And Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty. I know I keep saying this all the time, but in case it's the first time you watch me, I legitimately loved Breezango. I thought they were absolutely amazing, incredibly talented. They had the look, everything. Like, it was the in-ring capability. They were funny, in my opinion. I mean, they did win NXT Tag Team Gold. Anyway, so the whole Pretty Deadly naturally kind of reminds me of them a little bit, like loosely. I feel like they could have all been in there together as like a little faction there. But, yeah, it was entertaining for me. It had the E in WWE. What else do we have here? So Charlotte Flair defeated Bayley. This was a good match. It didn't look as awkward as, no offense, I thought it may have been. Bayley's a solid worker, just not when she speaks. It sounds very rude, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She just, nope. And at the end, we had Asuka come in, and she said something in Japanese, and this part, I have to admit, was a bit funny, because then Bayley goes, oh yeah, sure. You want a triple threat match with Io and Charlotte at Fastlane? No problem. And Io's like, why do you keep doing this to me? And all these weird things. That was like literally the only half funny thing Bayley did. But I do like Bayley. I just don't like, I know it sounds rude. It's like, hey, I like you, just not when you're speaking. Okay? So that's that. And for me, this was the highlight of the night. I mean, the Bloodline came out, tried to ambush Cena. And then LA Knight came out, no microphone, nothing. Smacked around the Bloodline, grabbed that contract, signed it, and having Cena legitimately looking like shocked, selling that he shot. Obviously, he probably knew. It's going to be his tag team at Fastlane. To me, that was amazing, and that kind of puts LA Knight over even more. And the scary thing is these two are only a couple of years apart in age. I know I keep bringing the age thing up, but it is a bit of a big deal. It's like Rey Mysterio. He's 48. I think he's the oldest superstar performing in WWE. But at that level, how much longer can he do it? Well, he's telling us that he wants to retire around 50 unless something happens before. And I don't want to bring this up because it's not funny, but sometimes I forget that back in 2015 when he was wrestling independently, he had accidentally killed someone with one of his drop kicks that had snapped. I think the person was only 22 years old. It snapped his vertebrae, and it killed him. So for a while, Ray stepped away from the ring, and things like that can happen because I rip on Ridge sometimes, and other people being stiff and dangerous. And meanwhile, Ray, I don't ever really have anything to say, yet he actually permanently annihilated someone, killed someone. It was an accident. But I think because he's been wrestling since he's 14 years old, and just overall how safe of a worker he is, I kind of consider it a freak accident. Again, I don't know all the details, but anyways, I don't want to keep going on because it is a really sad story, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm throwing Ray under the bus. I'm not doing that. I mean, he's pretty small, so he'd fit under the bus a lot easier than if I was trying to, throw Braun Strowman under the bus. That might be a little bit more complicated, and that's why my comedic career never took off. I say cringy things because I like doing that. That's enough rambling. I think I'm going to record some gameplay now of Universe Mode because, quite frankly, I've been doing a lot of news for the last couple of videos there, and I'm like, where's the gameplay? I mean, my channel is all things wrestling. It's got to be a little bit more gameplay. So stay tuned for that if you care to watch me play a video game that you're probably already playing anyways. I will be doing that probably right after this. So if you happen to watch this, if you happen to have made it to the end, not to be a narcissist, but I'd like to think maybe there's a higher probability of a chance you might care to watch some of my gameplay. And I'll probably just record like a quick match or something like that just for the sake of filling in, keeping up with the game. It holds me accountable because I do want to crank in those hours. Don't forget that I got 2 other YouTube channels. I play guitar, I work out, I hike. I do gardening. I do a lot of crazy shit. All trying to make money. Unfortunately, only one of those things are making me money a little bit, and that's my main YouTube channel. It's my main focus, no offense, because it's making me money. This is making me $20 a month. I don't even get paid from YouTube. Like every 5 months I'll get, I just opened my channel a couple of months ago. But it works out that about twice a year I'll get a payout of $100. So I'm worth about $200 a year. I'd like to think I'm worth more, but whatever. It happens. Thumbs up if you like the video. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm in making me more relevant in the search results. You didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. We'll bend it in half as always, twist it, and I'll break it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally, that would be fantastic. But if not, I don't blame you. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.